Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. It is Monday, September 7th, 2020, which is also Labor Day as of the time of this recording. So as you guys see by this little graphic here, obviously the NASDAQ is not open, the New York Stock Exchange is not open, the vast majorities of exchanges are not open today as we recognize the Labor Day holiday. Today we're going to be covering a topic that I've covered a couple videos ago, discussing what's been going on in the NASDAQ, why these technology stocks have been plummeting when you see other securities still continuing to climb, and the big reason for that is a company by the name of Softbank. If you guys haven't been up to date on your stock market news here recently, we're going to get into that here very shortly, but before we do, go ahead and hit the like button if you haven't already, or if at any point in this video you do enjoy what you guys are hearing or seeing, or if you learned something important, and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Obviously we continue our climb to 1,000 subscribers, and we are currently at 235 I believe, so I really appreciate everyone who's subscribed to the channel. Let's continue growing that fan base. So as you guys see, on Friday, September 4th, the NASDAQ finished down 144 points, or about 1.3%. And over the course of the last couple of days, there's just been this dramatic drop off, and with a little bit of a rise, but obviously headed back down, just after this meteoric rise of prosperity in the NASDAQ. And obviously, it hasn't been that big of a thing, but it is definitely a correction. And we, when it opens back up tomorrow, we could still see this correction taking place. And the biggest reason for that is, again, a company by the name of Softbank. And what has been happening, they have been purchasing billions of dollars in shares of these companies, and not only shares but of options, which is essentially, if you don't know what an option is, what they've been buying in particular is that they've been saying that these tech stocks, whether it's Apple, Tesla, Facebook, Google, Amazon, that they're going to go up. And obviously, during this time they've been going up, but it could be driven by a company such as this. When you're putting $8.9 billion into options like this, the market's going to go up because everyone else is going to be seeing, hey, there's $8.9 billion worth of volume going put into these companies. Obviously, that's probably spaced out over time, but any dramatic amount of money being put into the market at these times, other people are going to be like, well, maybe I should buy that. And it's just going to continue climbing that up. And then when they start to sell these, obviously it's going to go down. Let's see, how often do you wear a, let's say always. I didn't realize that popped up. So obviously that's going to go down. Shareholders in SoftBank wiped nearly $9 billion off its market value on Monday after weekend revelations that the Japanese conglomerate was the mystery whale that had driven U.S. technology stocks to record highs. So obviously that's where the company comes from. And the correction comes from, I should say. SoftBank shares lost about 7.2% on Monday. Obviously that's very justified, since they've been doing what they've said they weren't going to do. If you look at their about us section, it's a lot of back and forth about smart and fun, conservation, sustainability. If we look over here, and they discuss, if you read in deeper, that they're supposed to be investing in environmentally friendly companies that are going to be very sustainable for the future, and help the world out as a whole, not options. They're not supposed to be making these gambles. It says nowhere in there about buying options secretively or out in the open. So obviously there's a little bit of a misunderstanding there that they should clarify, if that's what their plan was originally, buying $9 billion in these options that have now sort of crashed the NASDAQ as a whole. And we may see this correction continue on. Obviously we've lost about a couple hundred points, 700 points from here, about 1,000 points from there. So you see this correction happening, and obviously there had to have been something for it. Is it justified? Probably. I believe for a while there, these stock prices were overinflated, And you look at a company like Tesla that's trading at 1,000 times their PE. Obviously that's something that you would definitely, raise an eyebrow to, have a lot of red flags potentially popping up there. Pardon me. And then obviously, you see just again, companies like Tesla, you have some good companies in there like Facebook, Apple. I think Apple's getting a little unjustly hit. Did they have a really dramatic rise here? Yes, but I don't think they deserve to be hit quite as hard. But obviously that's just part of being in the market. When you have a big company buying these options, obviously this is going to affect it. Does that mean the economy is in a bad place? No, and I think that's what some people are trying to blame it on. I think they're saying, oh, the economy, we're going back down. This is the recession of end of 2020, or 2020 is going to have 2 recessions, or whatever you want to call it. And I think those people just need to calm down a little bit. Obviously, that's not what's happening. There's a very reasonable explanation for it. Is it a reasonable thing that's happening? No, because you shouldn't be doing that as a company, let alone a company that holds this much power. So it's really something that they need to fix. And obviously it's too late in the NASDAQ now. Will it go back up? Yes, it always does. But the meteoric rise may not have been quite as justified. If we look at the just Google stock market, we look here, pharma stocks are actually potentially going to take over tech's dominance with the COVID-19 vaccine potentially coming out. You could see a lot of pharma stocks skyrocket and take the place of these tech stocks. And is that justified? That's probably more justified than these tech stocks, even though a lot of everything has been online. One stock that I am interested to see that I haven't looked at here recently is Zoom stock, because I know, so they skyrocketed up. Holy cow, they're actually down about 100 from where they were after they announced their earnings. That's incredible. But you do see still a PE ratio of 472. So I don't love that number, obviously. But here they were still talking about some growth. Even here, they were talking about some growth beyond this point. So that's definitely very interesting to me. I might have to make a video on that on Wednesday with the new schedule that I've been putting out on this channel. So that's going to do it for this video, guys. Let me know what you guys think about the whole Softbank situation, whether you guys have been hit hard by a lot of this, whether you guys are invested in, QQQ or like Facebook or Apple or whatever it may be. If you guys have been hit by this, obviously I've talked a lot about Tesla and Apple here recently, and obviously they've fallen down as of recently due to all of this. So hopefully you guys are being safe with your investments and being safe in general. Once again, if you haven't already, go ahead and leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And until next time, happy investing.